With the recent launch of the Quest 3, we've seen the Quest 2 price jump around quite a bit. With the Quest 3 launching at $500, the Quest 2 was still $300, making it a very competitive price. Quickly on Black Friday, that price got dropped to $249, and some retailers were even offering a $50 gift card of some sort if you bought a Quest 2. Now it's been announced that that $249 is becoming the official price of the Quest 2, bringing it from the $300 we'd seen it at to $250 in the future, and even some of its accessories dropping down in price as well. That's of course the 128GB, the smaller Quest 2 at $249, both of their Elite straps, the battery and the non-battery, getting discounts, the regular one being just a $10 discount. Their battery strap dropping $30 from $120 down to $90. Although we talked about before, both of these straps had some breakage issues. They were overpriced compared to third party. I still wouldn't recommend any of Meta's own accessories directly for the Quest 2. There's just too many better options through third parties. But there are other stuff like the case, the active pack, those are all dropping a little bit in price too. Now for those of you who haven't been around for as long, I'll give you a quick bit of history about the Quest 2 and its price overall, and how this actually shows a little bit of a habit change, hopefully, for what Meta has done in the past with how they've handled new headsets. The Quest 2, when it originally dropped, was $300. It was $100 less than the Quest 1 had been just months prior to that launch, really upsetting a lot of people who had bought the Quest 1 that hadn't even been out for that long at that full price to suddenly have a newer gen coming in at a much lower price. Because of that, the Quest 2 pretty instantly replaced the Quest 1, and the Quest 1 support got discontinued. Not really surprising when it's $100 cheaper, who's going to buy the 1 over the 2, but it was interesting to see because people were comparing Meta's model a lot to like gaming consoles, and you don't see a PS5 come out cheaper than a PS4 that had only launched a year prior. It seemed more like phone style, where new phones often come out at the same price or sometimes even lower on discount than the old models that had just come out a year prior. This model of keeping the Quest 2 at a lower price, continuing to sell more through the holidays like we talked about, and announcing that they're not going to cut the price on the Quest 3 anytime soon, makes it seem more like they are going to continue on a console style model where the old console continues to be sold for a couple years, continues to be supported, and is still cheaper than the newest one, giving people that lower end option. We've talked about the rumors about a Quest 3 Lite coming though to possibly replace the Quest 2. We haven't heard anything more about that or seen it substantiated, but it's interesting to see that they're still keeping the Quest 2 at now half the price, and that's not the lowest price it's ever been if you do factor in those gift cards, so we may watch out for more sales in the Quest 2, but it gives me hope that the millions of people who got their Quest 2s and are still sticking with them or holding on to them for now will be supported for a long time to come. What do you think? With the Quest 3 launch, we've also seen more and more new features coming even to the Quest 2, like better graphical capability, but there are some little features that seem to be kind of sneaking out the door without everybody noticing. One of those is the ability to cast your gameplay to a Google supported device. Chromecast sticks or even Chromecast enabled TVs were often a popular option for people who wanted to have more of a family style experience where everyone could see what the person in VR was doing. But recently we're seeing those Google Cast options disappearing off the headsets. You can still cast it directly to the phone app or directly to a web browser, but people were asking on X, I still call it Twitter, what was going on with this, and Mark Rabkin, the VP of VR, actually confirmed that this is happening. He said basically that it was never actually officially supported by Google for the Chromecast, and that they really want it to be better supported and be more reliable. Now, if you've never used a Chromecast stick, it really can depend a lot on your internet connection, but I will say they weren't very reliable. They might start off with a pretty decent showing of what's going on in the headset, but they quickly started to lag, and sometimes the frames would get down to like 5 frames a second, making it pretty unbearable to watch. The internet browser or directly through the phone was always a little bit more reliable, and at least now the phone actually broadcasts audio that's coming out, because in the original days it didn't do that, so you could only watch and not hear. Mark did mention that they are working on official support possibly through Google, so I hope to see that possibly come back and be better than it was before. I've always wished that they would just include like an HDMI dongle with each headset that can be plugged into anything and would have a really good reliable casting connection, because something about the Quest I really miss about the PSVR was if you had a VR party, it was just always reliably on the TV, everyone could see what they were playing, there was no lag. But it makes me wonder how many of you out there actually use the casting. Do you think that it's that useful, and do other people in the room engage and really watch, or do they pretty quickly tune out what the person's doing anyways? To celebrate the biggest year the channel's ever had, thanks to all of you out there, we just started a brand new Quest 3 giveaway yesterday. Already a lot of you found that and got entered into it, but if you missed that, I will leave a link in the comments in the description down below. We had a Quest 3 giveaway going on for Christmas. That one has probably ended by the time this video posts, although right now as I speak it is still running for a few more hours. We're not going to be able to announce the winner quite in today's video, but watch out tomorrow to find out who won the Christmas one, and then go get entered in the new one if you haven't already. Again, a huge thank you, a massive year, the biggest we've ever seen by a lot. Libby says thank you too. We've reviewed a lot of head straps. We told you many times it's best with the Quest 2 or the Quest 3 to replace your Quest head strap with something aftermarket, something not directly from Meta, and something that just makes it more comfortable and customizable customizable to you. Our friend Assassin32VR actually wrote an article, has been published now over on XR Update, talking about what style of Quest straps there are out there, the advantages, disadvantages of the two. And it was cool when I was looking through articles today to see that he had something over there. So I just want to give him a quick shout. I'll leave a link to that article down below and also to some of our review videos. In case somehow you're still rocking that stock head strap and you're ready to get something else, now is definitely the time. It usually doesn't surprise us much when a new phone comes out and a few months later they're already talking about the next phone and how much better its chip is going to be. But we're seeing something similar to that happening here with the Quest 3's XR chip that's in it. Quest 3 had a very powerful new XR chip, which is the Snapdragon XR2 Plus. Well, now they're talking about the next chip being the XR2 Plus Gen 2. We saw something similar happen with the original Quest 2 when the Quest Pro came out with a higher gen processor, but still a variant of the same one. And we saw that it did enable more power, but it was nothing like the jump from Quest 2 to Quest 3. In fact, this new Gen 2 offers about a 15% increase in GPU, 20% increase in CPU. It can run 12 sensors on the outside, up from 10, and 18.5 megapixels or 4300 by 4300 pixels per eye resolution at 90 Hertz. It's stated that the new processor is not any more efficient though, meaning that it will need more power and more heat dissipation. So this is something that couldn't necessarily just be plugged into the Quest 3 with its current design. It will probably need a better cooling solution even than that. Probably the most interesting little tidbit they gave us here though was that they said that 5 companies are currently building devices based on their Snapdragon XR2 Plus Gen 2 technology, including the one by Samsung that we've talked about before. And we've seen a lot of different mods that try to make it so that you can play your favorite flat games in VR, but there is a new one for Unreal Engine that might actually reliably make VR support into any modern Unreal Engine game. This is truly exciting as this is actual potential support, much better than what we've seen past generations of like Vorpex, where a lot of them just made a second screen slightly off angle and made people really sick oftentimes because the screens weren't perfectly aligned with stereoscopic VR. This means that basically any PC game made with Unreal Engine 4.8 and above, including the new Unreal Engine 5, could just be played directly in VR. This means that your headset would be tracked. You can actually move your headset around with that 6 degrees of freedom. This doesn't mean that a game that was never built for VR though is going to let you swing a sword or use a gun with the controller by moving the controller around necessarily. But this is really interesting, especially for games that you would use something like a keyboard and mouse still, or something that you would use a steering wheel. Basically, it's just going to drop you inside of the game world in your VR headset, being able to look around and move your head around. If you really are into tinkering and modding, there is some capability to set up certain games to actually track the VR controllers though and use them too. This is of course for now only if you're linking up to a PC in some way and playing through PC, but it's an interesting future to see how there could be possibilities of many games coming to VR that even were never really intended to. We've talked a lot about the Apple Vision Pro as it approaches, and now there's rumors of it possibly being revealed as soon as the end of this month. And now in patents, we've seen what the top strap is going to look like. We have seen some other drawings before, and we knew before that the top strap might go from side to side over the top middle of your head, but it'll be surprising to a lot of people who hadn't heard that yet, seeing it here, that this isn't a front to back strap, but a side to side strap. This is to help support the headset's weight and make it more comfortable. And as we've seen with most headsets that you add top straps to, it really helps you not have to tighten down the headset as tight on your head to still be comfortable. The add-on looks like it matches the aesthetic of the headset decently well, although I would say personally it does cheapen it a bit seeing the top strap on top, and knowing that it's optional, it's probably a significant cost knowing Apple just to get another strap that goes over your head. There will probably be some third-party support for Apple headsets, I'm sure, after they come out, although at that high price, a lot of companies probably don't want to invest a lot of time in development in them, but there's companies out there that already have top straps like this from other headsets they could adapt over really easily, or just start reselling for it. We might be 3 weeks from seeing these things in the wild. What do you think? We are leaving tomorrow for CES. That's one of the biggest tech trade shows of the year that happens in Las Vegas. We went last year, we got to show you a bit. We got to show you the PSVR 2 ahead of time, some other cool VR tech. There's some stuff there I'm interested in seeing this year. There's actually some AR glasses that look truly like actual regular glasses. Of course, the Pimax 12K newest, most powerful headset is going to be there on display, and a lot of other VR tech that we'll be showing off throughout the week as we can to you. I'm excited to go back, excited to see what's going on there, and excited to share with all of you. So if you have questions, hit me up. Let me know what you're looking forward to out there in the future. It's not quite like last year. I feel like the Quest 3 is out. The PSVR 2 has been out. There's nothing huge that we're really waiting on besides the Apple Vision Pro, and it's unlikely they'll be there because they don't usually show up at CES anyways. But once again, thank you for our biggest year ever. I'm excited about this new year and what we're all going to do together in it, but thank you so much. It's been absolutely huge and amazing. I really appreciate all of you. So thank you once again, and I'll see you in another reality.